So there's this crazy fat bitch. Here's a little something about me. I often find it challenging to start videos. Like, what's the first thing you're gonna say? How do you get that ball rolling? I mean, once you've started, it's easy. There's this sort of flow that you can just expand on. But all I could come up with for this one was, there's this crazy fat bitch. Let me rephrase myself. There's this alarmingly rotund, brave Australian female fat activist. And when I say fat activist, I don't mean fat activist, I mean fat activist. Like her activism isn't for fat people. She's an activist who's fat. Now before we go on, it's Mother's Day soon. Have you organised a present for your mum? Get her the gift she deserves. With a coffee brand coffee Mother's Day gift box. They include a packet of their popular 003 medium roast, which is a top tier coffee, take it from me. Some toffee brand toffee with almonds, kettle corn and some saltwater taffy. It all comes beautifully packaged direct to mum's door. Get 5% off at checkout by using the link below and the promo code bearing. Anyway, this fat activist has been making news headlines this week for getting into an argument with Anthony Albanese, our Prime Minister, at a march against domestic violence in Canberra last weekend. And this all came about because a bunch of chicks have been killed by their partners recently. I mean, it happens all the time. It's really horrible. Now granted, it happens in Australia at a lower rate than other countries, like the United States, the UK, Canada, France, Italy, Germany, Austria, Poland, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Norway, Switzerland, Finland, Iceland, Denmark, Mexico, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Turkey, Israel, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, New Zealand, Thailand, South Korea, India, Sri Lanka, and literally all of Africa. But I mean, apart from those countries, our stats are just way up there. Now, having said that, I'm obviously not sitting here defending dudes killing their wives. I'm just putting the numbers in perspective. The murder of anyone is a problem. So a bunch of chicks got together and said, hey, let's do a march. Let's do a march to show men how angry we are. And so that's what they did at a bunch of big cities around Australia last weekend. And it was all led by this woman, Sarah Williams. She runs a group called What Were You Wearing? It's like a victim advocacy, domestic violence activism sort of group. And she attended the Canberra rally and was dead set against the Prime Minister speaking at this event, unless he agreed to a whole heap of her policy demands.
No, he won't be speaking unless he was to turn around and say he's committed to a bunch of stuff, which he won't. And no other minister will be speaking unless they commit to something, which they won't. So let's see what happens though.
To be transparent, if you've come here today for the Prime Minister because of him coming and you're not here for the cause, please don't continue marching.
So anyway, then they're doing their speeches and stuff, and the Prime Minister's sitting there like a good boy, and he's like, oh, do you want me to make a speech or not? Anyway, here it is, I'll just show it to you. There is a point to showing you all this, I'm leading up to something.
As women around the country gathered to march at the weekend, they were joined by the Prime Minister, who walked with the crowd and listened. When the rally called for the federal government to do more, he wanted to respond. Rally organiser Sarah Williams let the crowd decide whether he should speak.
Speaking or not speaking?
And with microphone in hand, the Prime Minister expressed his frustration.
To be clear, we did ask to speak, myself and Katie, and were told that that wasn't possible, and that's fine. I respect the organisers' right to do that.
That's a full-out lie.
To do that.
So as you can see, she starts crying, there's a big uproar. The media are demanding answers. Who was in the wrong here? The fat emotional woman or the callous effeminate Prime Minister? So she started doing the rounds. She did a bunch of interviews and I caught this one and I thought, fucking hell, she really is unhinged. Watch this.
Joining me live now is anti-domestic violence rally organiser Sarah Williams. Thanks very much for your time. Just briefly, how do you feel with yesterday? There is a national cabinet, something is happening. What's your feeling as you wake up today? What the result has been from yesterday?
I was appalled, gutted, and quite traumatised, to be completely honest. I wasn't happy at all. I don't think a national cabinet's going to do anything because it's just Anthony Albanese, sorry guys, it's just Anthony Albanese meeting with other premiers and other people in the area, rather than it being, you know, organisations and advocates and people who are with victims every single day.
Yeah, see, remember how I said she runs that organisation called What Were You Wearing? The victim advocacy group thing? Well, she wants that to be in the spotlight. Basically, she wants a fuckload of government funding, and she's pissed off that her group's not getting it.
So you'd like them to have input. The positive around National Cabinet is, you know, you need federal and state laws and funding. So things you're after, such as funding, a change to laws around images that can be showed, including from media, obviously, alternative reporting options. These sort of things would need to be worked out at a government level. Isn't it a positive that they'll all be discussing this on Wednesday?
No, it's not a positive, you dopey cunt. The whole country, all the politicians have to stop and listen to her. She's got to be the queen victim, otherwise there's going to be like an all-out woman holocaust. They have to meet her demands. I mean, as far as I understand, she's an activist who borrowed the name of another group from overseas. She's fresh out of uni and she's in her early 20s. Yes, her early 20s. I mean, why wouldn't you base an entire country's domestic violence policy schedule on this woman's set of demands?
They're not discussing our demands is the issue. They're discussing violence against women.
See, what did I tell you? They're not meeting our demands. They're only discussing violence against women. Let's listen to that again.
They're not discussing our demands is the issue. They're discussing violence against women.
So it's not good enough that they're discussing violence against women. They have to agree to her demands. This is the Sarah Williams show. That's all it is.
I think that this is just, you know, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of Wednesday, but I don't think they're going to come out of Wednesday with they've committed to our demands, because if so, why would he have done what he did yesterday? And my thoughts is, you know, with the demands, he needs to actually work with us. One of the things I called on him in the audience yesterday was, will you meet with us to start a conversation about these campaigns and get the information and knowledge? And they did not answer. So that to me is like, how's that going to do anything if you haven't actually met with the people to get the insider knowledge?
Yeah, see, why the fuck are you the insider knowledge? I mean, I don't know if you're a domestic violence victim. Maybe you are, but you don't speak for all women. In fact, you seem to have pissed a lot of women off. You've, like, divided the cause. Because don't forget, Anthony Albanese leads a left-leaning government. So according to most of these chicks who tend to lean left, you know, the ones that get out and rally and protest and stuff, Anthony Albanese is a saint compared to his opposition.
So part of all of this in terms of what actually happens, you've said, or there's an allegation the Prime Minister said in response to all of these calls, I'm the Prime Minister, I run this country. He said he didn't say this. Do you stand by? Are they the exact words he said?
Yes, those exact words he said.
Yeah, see, this is where it starts to get juicy. I mean, according to the footage, he did say, I'm the Prime Minister. I'm not sure if he said, I run this country. I don't think he did. But even if he did say that, he kind of does, unfortunately. But this woman's trying to play it off as some sort of misogynistic remark. Anyway, watch this.
But I've not been told that he hasn't said he didn't say it. I've been told he's avoided the questions all day. He said that whilst I asked everyone if we wanted him to speak, and there was about 20 or so people behind that heard him say it.
So 20 or 30 people heard him as well, because he says there were cameras there, there were microphones there, check yourself. Do you have any evidence of him saying that, given how central this has all become?
Yeah, we do, and we have many witnesses going on 2GB radio tomorrow to discuss with them. That'll be going live.
See, who gives a fuck if he said it? What's the difference? He said, I'm the Prime Minister. What's the difference between that and I run the country? I mean, like I said, I think she's trying to play it off as some sort of misogynistic remark. So we've got a scenario where something was recorded on video. This chick throws a bitch fit. Then the Prime Minister says, check the video. Then she says, no, he definitely said it. Trust me, bro. I've got like 30 other angry chicks that are going to back me up. And this news presenter's like, yeah, but there's no actual evidence. I wonder how she's going to take to that.
Right, but you're saying you've got a recording of him saying this.
We've got our recording, that's the live stream, but he's behind, so we're waiting to get the recordings for if anyone got audio from the background. But just because if someone didn't get audio of him saying it doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's victim blaming at its best. And our organisation is called What Were You Wearing Australia. We're about ending victim blaming, and what you're doing right now on live TV is victim blaming me. So please don't do that.
You're victim blaming me live on TV. Come on. What are you a victim of? A minor disagreement with the Prime Minister? This is why this woman should have no say in policy making. She's a pearl clutcher. The guy on the news calmly asks her what's what, and all of a sudden she's a victim. Go away, lady. Grow up.
One of our demands,
I
our
was
third
just asking
demand
you because
was-
you...
No, but our third demand,
Yeah, so-
if you actually knew about the campaign, was mandatory victim blaming prevention training for media personnel. So they don't victim blame victim survivors. What you're doing right now on national TV is victim blaming me. And I don't like it whatsoever because people who watch who are victim survivors will think that's okay to do. And that's what encourages men's violence.
And that's what encourages men's violence. You're basically murdering me with questions. That was one of our demands. That media personalities have victim blaming training. That's why your demands aren't being listened to. Because they're fucking ridiculous. You're not a victim, not in this context anyway. Having a minor disagreement with the Prime Minister does not make you a victim.
Okay, well, I'm not seeking to do that. It was a question around merely the element of whether this was said or not. When you said there was a recording, I was just asking about that. Okay.
And I'm saying it was
I'm not doubting that.
and that there'll be witnesses tomorrow that will be speaking about it.
Okay.
How fucking awkward is this? He's sitting there thinking, how the fuck do I handle this woman? She's unhinged. He doesn't know what to say.
We don't seek to stifle anyone. That's why you were invited on today. If those people want to talk to Sky News tomorrow, they're welcome as well. By the way, if you want to contact anyone at Sky, and they're welcome to do that as well.
To be honest.
Okay.
I was told I'd be speaking to someone who was trauma-informed and wouldn't be victim-blaming. So it's pretty disappointing, guys.
Okay.
Oh, that was rough. The level of cringe in this interview was off the charts. I mean, he did a great job just by keeping a straight face. Like, if he had have laughed or said, what the fuck? You're being hysterical, he would have been painted as some sort of misogynist, which is sad because he was asking common sense, straightforward questions. Anyway, I saw this interview, so I thought you have to as well. And let me tell you, this video wasn't easy for me because I really don't like Anthony Albanese. But in this case, he did nothing wrong. This chick's just fucking hysterical. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to buy your mum a Coffee Brand Coffee Mother's Day hamper. Alright, all the best. Catch you later.
Recession, give me better times, give me better times. Recession.